Hi, this is Prab from Summit Software Solutions, and today I'm going to be talking about the Sprint Retrospective. So, as many of us know, there are four Scrum events which are prescribed by the Scrum framework. You have sprint planning, you have the daily Scrum, you have the sprint review, and the Sprint Retrospective. So, these events enable the team to actually inspect and adapt their way of working, right? And these events enable transparency and inspection. They create a certain degree of openness among all the team members, and they also counterintuitively minimize the need for meetings because they are time boxed and they create a sense of regularity. So people working in the team come to regard these events as highly important and try to make the best out of these events. Right, so what exactly is the retrospective? Now, before I jump into the Scrum definition of retrospective, let me give you the Webster Dictionary definition of the word retrospect. So, to retrospect is to review or meditate on past events. And the Scrum Guide doesn't go very far from this definition. So, the Scrum Guide looks upon the retrospective as an opportunity for the team to take a hard and honest look at itself and create an improvement plan. And some time related trivia here about the retrospective. It happens after the sprint review and before the next sprint planning session. So it has to be done before the start of the next sprint. And how long does the retrospective take? So it usually takes about 3 hours for a 1 month sprint, and for sprints of shorter durations, it's going to take proportionately less time. So who attends the sprint retrospective? So it's usually attended by the entire Scrum team, and by that I mean the development team, the Scrum Master, and the product owner. Anyone outside the Scrum team is usually not welcome, right? So the Scrum Master impresses upon the team its importance as a tool of inspection and adaptation. It's up to the Scrum Master to lay out the ground rules, to lay out the importance of having these sprint retrospectives regularly, and not skipping them. And at the end of the day, the Scrum Master ensures that the retrospective takes place and facilitates its happening. So one thing that has to be remembered here is that the Scrum Master attends only as a regular team member and not really as a supervisor who's looking at the capability of the team, or who's actually evaluating the performance of the past performance of the team. So let's now move to some ground rules for the conduct of the sprint retrospective. So one thing that has to be uppermost in everyone's mind when they walk into that room, where the sprint retrospective is held, is that finger pointing is not going to be the game plan here, right? You're not there at the sprint retrospective to blame someone else or even get defensive about something that you have done. So in my opinion, respect, which is a Scrum value, is the main Scrum value which should be kept in mind when you are at a retrospective. So team members must have the courage to speak up openly, and that in turn will enable the team to retrospect more meaningfully and come out with a meaningful action plan for the future. So it's up to the Scrum Master to create an environment where everyone in the team feels free to speak up openly without fear of retribution. So the Scrum Master ensures that the meeting is positive and productive, and it doesn't degenerate into a shouting match where there's only negative comments being passed around, and it ends up as a perfect example of negative conflict. So at the end of the day, the mindset of the team has to move from just looking at individual performance and shift towards looking at how the team as a whole can perform and move forward. So it's definitely not a place where an individual uses the retrospective as an opportunity to give suggestions and advance his or her case for a job promotion. That's not what the intended outcome is, right? So what really happens? So during a retrospective, the team identifies what went well and what should be continued, what should be stopped, and if something has not been done till date, then it should be started as soon as possible. So for example, the team could identify set of test automation tools which have not been used till date and which they feel might improve the efficiency of the team. Or maybe the developers are not writing their unit tests, and that's something that can be brought up during the retrospective, so that it's as a practice developers would start writing unit tests as they deliver their code. So you inspect as a team what happened with regards to not just technical aspects of the project, you also inspect with regards to people, processes, and then you come up with a list of improvement areas. And it's very important that you prioritize this list, because you're not going to be able to implement all the improvements that you have identified. So the most important thing to remember here is that you should commit, at the end of the sprint retrospective, you should commit to implementing at least one improvement area during the upcoming sprint. What are the outcomes? The outcomes are pretty obvious to most of us. The outcome would definitely be optimized processes and better tools, resulting in higher levels of efficiency. So that in turn would result in cost and time savings. And many teams start with a very broad definition of done, and it is during these retrospectives that they fine tune the definition of done and make it more stringent, and that in turn enables the delivery of a higher quality product. So at the end of the day, you're going to have a highly productive team, and a highly productive team is going to be a happier team. So if your product is going to be of a higher quality, your customers are going to be very happy, and that at the end of the day is going to result in renewed and new business opportunities. So that's it from me, and I hope you learned something from this video. So if you like this video, please click the like button, and stay tuned for more videos on software development, project management, and more. Please do subscribe to the channel if you would like to hear from me in future. And if you're looking for help with projects, visit summit.com.au or email us at askit@summit.com.au. And I'll see you in the next video.